Hey everybody, welcome back to the Figures and Flippy Shit podcast, where I guess not this week, we talk about WWE and AEW every week. Mm-hmm. So let's just, you want to just jump right in?
Yeah, so I'm gonna steal one of WWE's phrases, but we have our foot firmly on the gas pedal on the road to WrestleMania and the road to Sting's retirement match. We're gonna start with WWE because I love AEW, but man, WWE is just cooking on another level right now.
WWE has been my favorite here lately. They've just known what to do.
They're cooking on a level that they haven't cooked in years.
Yeah.
But we'll start with our main attraction story. So, we had two pretty fun segments this week involving our main story. And we'll start with Raw, where we had a promo between Cody and Rollins, and it may be one of my favorite moments between two wrestlers ever.
You like it because it very much had this, like, Marvel movie superheroes coming together.
I said when they were cutting the promo, I looked at you and I said, holy shit, WrestleMania 39 is the end of Infinity War, and WrestleMania 40 is Endgame, because Cody's Avengers assembling. Well, actually, Rollins is trying to get him to do it. But I like how after 1,200, however many days it's been, somebody finally was like, hey, maybe you should take backup. And I'm glad that it was Rollins, somebody who has no stakes in the story technically.
Yeah.
But
he's just had to put up with their stuff.
Yeah, but they've done a great job of stating why he matters in that story by calling back to him in Roman's history with the Shield, even him making the pun about being Cody's Shield. Mm-hmm. I just thought this was a really enjoyable segment. I think what's telling about it too is it's a segment that it felt like it went 20 minutes. I don't know if it went 20 minutes, but it felt like it. Yeah. And the crowd never got restless. Like, everybody was hanging on every word that was being said. It felt like it was an important conversation.
Yeah.
And it went uninterrupted. No Drew McIntyre, no Shinsuke Nakamura. It went completely,
They
totally
just needed that, like,
uninterrupted.
intense background music that Marvel plays where it builds up scenes.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a Iron Man Captain America reconciliation is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And that's been built very well by having Rollins repeatedly iterate, I don't like you, but now, this is, since Survivor Series, it started being just one night, we're going to team up, and now they've been cooperative now for the last 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, the longer it goes, the more Rollins warms up to Cody. And I've seen a lot of people say that they feel like it's setting up Rollins turning on Cody. And I just don't see that being the option moving forward. I think Rollins is going to take some time off to heal after Mania, so I don't think they're going to have him turn. Plus, Cody's going to carry that title on SmackDown. Rollins is a pure Raw guy. He's been a Raw guy forever. It's to the point where seeing Rollins on SmackDown is weird. Because he just doesn't fit there, because he's Monday Night Rollins. Mm-hmm. But that was a really enjoyable segment. Really loved it. Really liked what we're building. Please, WWE, do not run Cody Roman 3. Just end it at Cody Roman 2 and be done with it. I saw a lot of people freaking out because on the SmackDown side, they were touting Roman's days again. And they were like, oh my god, they're going to have him pass Hulk Hogan, aren't they?
But don't they always tout the days?
They do. I don't think it's a hint that they're going to chase Hogan. I think it's just pointing out how many days it's been.
They got to give something to make him look.
Yeah, because they can't use defenses. They can't use defenses.
No.
I saw somebody actually comment last night. They were like, "Man, Roman's belt's so shiny, probably because he never defends it. It's like it just sits on his mantle." But on the flip side, on SmackDown, we had a Rock and Roman Reigns segment. This one was, I saw a lot of people saying that there wasn't much established, that essentially it was a Rock promo that could be summed up in a tweet.
I was going to say, I feel like I had a hard time focusing during this, though.
Well, there was a lot of people that thought that Rock kind of rambled in a couple places. Like
I kept losing focus during his
And
stuff.
I think the point of this promo was not necessarily to move the story. I think it was just to establish, yes, Rock is heel, this is the direction we're going. Because he threw out insults. He called the crowd trailer trash, called them inbreds, talked about their 500 grandkids. Like, Rock went all in on Utah. It was like when he saw Utah was coming up, he was like, well, I've got some material here.
Yeah.
Which is fun to see that Rock back. And honestly, he feels more back when he's cutting it up as a heel. If he's a face just spouting, I love this, and da-da-da. He just feels like a dude that's come back for a family reunion. And here, it looks like he's come back with purpose, and he's pissed off.
Yeah.
And I like this. My one drawback to it is once he came out, Roman didn't say another word, and it definitely feels like Roman's playing second fiddle in this story right now because of Rock. But I've also seen a lot of people speculate that that may be the point. That is going to be where that friction comes in for Roman and Rock to break off and do their feud either at SummerSlam or next year at WrestleMania, whatever they decide to do. As long as Roman doesn't have a title, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care.
Yeah.
I will only accept two options walking out of WrestleMania as champion. That's Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. Those are the only two options I will accept. I won't be happy if it's Damian Priest, but I'll accept it. But it also definitely feels like a total Dusty Rhodes thing to have the title for about 12 seconds and then get cashed
Dusty?
in on. Yeah, that's something that would happen to Dusty.
Gotcha.
So I think we've done a really good job building this program. It's been an interesting ride. You know, I was extremely pissed off 2 weeks ago, and now I'm probably more invested than I've been at this point. And I think that says a lot about the Rock's ability to still draw. Like people were chanting, "We want Cody." He was ripping on them. They were still chanting his name. Like he just has an aura that when he's there, he's difficult to boo. But I think he will continue to dig deeper and deeper to get those reactions. Especially because if he starts getting cheered, especially if he gets in a segment with Cody and the live crowd is more on fire for Rock than Cody, I'm afraid WWE is going to feel like they made a mistake with their pivot. And I just hope the fans hold strong. I know The Rock is an addictive drug. Like, when he comes in, it's hard to not...
Because he wasn't addictive to me yet last night. I barely made it through.
You didn't watch wrestling in 1998 like a lot of us did.
True.
For a lot of us, like, we saw a Rock we haven't seen in 20 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's hard. You know, when you see something that you've wanted to see forever, you know, even if it flies in the face of what you want to actually happen. Hey, we are. We're a fickle bunch, and we love nostalgia. We bitch about nostalgia, but we love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to sit at home and complain that a legend has come back and overshadowed, but then you start to go to a live show and you're like, oh my god, I could see Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, it takes over. So it's really hard to separate that live than it is at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about where we're going. WrestleMania is 50 days away. So we've still got, we're already hyped to the moon, and we've still got 50 days to go to keep building.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited. I'm interested to see what group Cody gets together for his Avengers Assemble moment. Most of the names I've seen thrown out are Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn.
It looks like because he was talking
Jey
to Sami
Uso.
Zayn.
Yeah, he did talk to Sami Zayn and thanked him for helping him with Drew.
And he came out. Did Cody come out and help Sami or no?
Yeah. Because Sami was getting jumped because it was a return favor for Sami helping him out with Shinsuke. So yeah, definitely he's building that rapport. He told Sami, you know, you're not the only one that believes in you. I believe in you. So it's definitely interesting. I'm very interested to see what Sami's going to do at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're running out of things, and I hope after the moment he had last year, I really hope they don't have their only thing planned as Sami helps Cody. I hope they give him something. I've seen a lot of people hope for a triple threat between McIntyre, Rollins, and Zayn, and I just don't know how we get there without being too convoluted.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but exciting stuff. It's definitely been tune-in worthy every week. I'm super excited to see Cody's response on Raw. I figure you probably think he's going to say the same things he always has. But I'm interested to see it. I think everybody came to play on their mic game for this main event. I think it's going to help build it further. Next, let's move over to NXT because we have some new champions in NXT. So, the Wolf Dogs, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, were successful in getting the NXT Tag Championships from Tony D'Angelo and Stax on Tuesday.
Yes.
But then, what was interesting was Friday, SmackDown had a segment where they announced that Braun Breaker had signed with SmackDown. And your first question was, what about the tag titles?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is interesting because, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, there was a period of time I wasn't watching, you know, at the start of NXT and when NXT became the bright coloring book logo for a while.
It's not as bright now.
This is no. I'm talking about 2.0, like when it looked like a rainbow farted on the banner of NXT.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when Vince made the changes, when he got mad at Triple H and gutted what Triple H had built.
Didn't it come out though that Shawn Michaels said that he was the one that was booking most of that?
It wasn't the booking that so much that people had an issue with it. I mean, there was an issue with some booking, but the presentation was horrendous.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And I noticed this week that NXT was a little bit darker, so I appreciate that because it felt like NXT I was watching. Sometimes it felt like I was staring into the sun because it was so bright.
Yes.
WWE toned all that down this week and it looked great.
They did.
My eyes appreciate it, so thank you, whoever made those calls, and thankfully Kevin Dunn's gone, it wasn't him. Anyway, back to the original point.
NXT Tag Team Champions.
I had told you, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that we have a tag team that could, one of their distractions could be that one of them got called up. I thought that was going to be the route that we were going to go with Trick and Mello, but we went a different direction there.
Yeah.
So I am curious. I think there's a lot of layers here. You have the layer of Braun Breaker being distracted by being signed to SmackDown. He's literally wrestling his first match on SmackDown next week. He actually wrestled it last night because next week's SmackDown's pre-taped.
Thanks for that little side bit of information.
Yeah, man. I'm just reporting facts. But that being said, you know, his tag team partner's Baron Corbin, somebody who's been there and is back in NXT. So are we going to see a little bit of jealousy and resentment that Braun Breaker's heading back to the main roster while Baron Corbin's still in NXT? You know, there's a couple things that play there that we could really work with this story. I think it ends up with Braun versus Baron Corbin at Stand and Deliver, I think is where we're going with this. Because I don't think that they're going to take Braun out right before Stand and Deliver. They seem to have done that with Tiffany Stratton, because Tiffany Stratton is not on NXT TV at all.
Yeah.
But she's doing fine, as we'll talk about later. But yeah, I'm interested to see if this is a point of conflict. The last thing that I want to see is they forfeit the title so Braun can go up. That's a cop-out. I want some good old-fashioned drama build. So we'll see where it goes. I think it's interesting. I like these two together. I'm gonna be disappointed to see them not team anymore because it's been fun. But
it's hard for Baron Corbin to get people behind him for some reason.
It is. He's got the crowd behind him right now.
He does.
Like he's probably the most over he's ever been.
Probably, yeah.
Which good for
well,
him.
he was over at NXT when he first started.
Did he? I know you went back and watched a lot of the original NXT
and I can't remember who it was. They would have a thing to see who could finish matches the quickest, and Baron was over.
Wasn't it Bull Dempsey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah. And I told you this last night. I've really enjoyed watching Braun Breaker wrestle. I really enjoy his style.
Yeah.
With his power mixed with his speed. He's like a combination of like Goldberg and Nathan Frazier.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because that dude is lightning quick.
Yeah.
Like Nathan Frazier is the fastest dude I've ever seen. Braun Breaker is the fastest dude I've ever seen at that size.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible what he could do. And when he speared Stacks last night, he straight up cut him in half. Like he just annihilated Stacks. And kudos to Stacks for making that spear look world-ending, because it did. But we'll see where we go with the family here. I told you last night that I thought it was kind of strange that it felt like Tony D'Angelo was getting ready for his call-up, because he's been in NXT for a while. And now Rizzo has come along, who's kind of brand new, and we're working on establishing Adriana Rizzo. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, so NXT's going to cook. They're heading into Stand and Deliver. That's their WrestleMania, so I fully expect NXT to turn up the dial, and I'm interested to see what they cook up. Okay, so let's go over to AEW for a little bit. So they are building up. They have Revolution next month. Sting's last match. Actually, it's like 3 weeks away. I didn't even realize. It felt like when they announced it was like 2 months away still. But yeah, we're heading to Revolution, which ticket sales are apparently doing really well. And apparently AEW has started lowering their ticket prices.
Oh, that's good.
They need to. They need to. So hopefully that trend continues. But we're starting to take shape with what we're doing. So for our world title match, we've got Swerve versus Hangman versus Samoa Joe. I am good with Samoa Joe or Swerve winning that match, preferably Swerve.
I don't want Hangman to win. I like Hangman. I just don't feel like it.
I think it would be better for his character if he lost, especially if he's the one not pinned.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely going this unhinged direction where he's not fully heel yet. He's just kind of being a dick right now.
Yeah.
Because he even tried to come out and justify it.
Yes.
He was like, I'm not mad at you, Swerve. I'm not mad you're in the match. He's fucking livid. You know it. His mustache gets more full the more angry he gets. Trust me, I would know. So that triple threat should be a lot of fun. I think that match will slap and slap hard. I think Joe is transitional champion. AEW hasn't really had one of those on purpose. CM Punk kind of became one because of injury. But they never really planned for a transitional champion, it seemed. So I'm interested to see if that's what they do with Joe. I don't think the title needs another long run. We just came off of MJF holding it for over a year. Mm-hmm. I think it would be okay to get it on somebody else quick to build up a longer reign.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. Christian's TNT title picture, looking like we're going to get Adam Copeland, Daniel Garcia, and Christian in some form, which will be interesting and great for Danny Garcia to get himself in a spot with those two guys. And Danny Garcia is a fantastic wrestler. He absolutely deserves to be there.
Yes, and he's a nice guy.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Daniel Garcia's future because I definitely see him as somebody that can I kind of like the idea of where they were going of him kind of taking up the mantle from Bryan Danielson for technical wrestling.
Yeah.
I kind of wish their story would have played out differently. I'm hoping that we don't halt Danny's push this time like we did last time. I hope we follow through with it.
Yeah.
And part of me kind of wonders if this is going to turn Adam Copeland a little heel on Danny Garcia.
Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
The international title picture, I think Roddy's taken that.
I think so too. From Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I think honestly, I like Orange Cassidy. I think Orange Cassidy's done about all he can do with that title.
Especially because you never give him a freaking story when he has a title.
No, he just fights everyone.
And it's kind of lame.
It is, and what's kind of crazy about that is...
That was my complaint the first time he had that title.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels like hey, we have this belt, we just need to make sure we defend it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have done a good job kind of slow burning Roddy in.
Yeah.
But when you do something like that and then have him defend it 3 times before then, you know where they're heading. It's a foregone conclusion. So those 3 matches end up losing some of that meaning. That's why, AEW can throw on a dream match like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But the problem is these dream matches hardly ever have stakes.
Agreed. There's no story to it. It's just, hey, this would be a good match. When they usually are, it's just sometimes we need stories.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Continental Classic was fine because you were building to something, but that can't be
But once that was over, nothing came from it, really.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston just defends it every so often.
Yeah.
He's going to fight Bryan Danielson again at Revolution. It'll be Kingston Danielson 3.
Why? Give us a story to it.
Yeah.
Have a build up. I don't know.
It definitely feels like Tony is kind of grasping at what to do. It seems like he has 2 or 3 stories that he wants to tell, and the rest of it's just kind of filling in.
Yeah.
Over the last couple weeks, I have no problem. I understand AEW pulling in other promotions, but what the hell was going on with the CMLL stuff? I understand it was building to a match with CMLL. Why couldn't they do more of this on CMLL's time? Because honestly, if you would have had Blackpool Combat Club do CMLL stuff with CMLL, that opens up time on TV for your rosters. But instead, we got a CMLL match with Blackpool Combat Club on Dynamite and on Collision.
And on no, it wasn't on Rampage, was it?
There was a piece on Rampage.
Yeah.
So that story occupied all 3 shows that week, and that's not necessary. The tag titles, we've got Sting and Darby versus the Young Bucks. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out who's going to win that match.
Right, because there's no way Sting can't retire and have a belt. What?
No, I think...
I feel like they really messed up when they gave them the titles. If you wanted them to have the titles, give it to them earlier.
Yeah, I agree.
It's predictable. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it really, because
I'm all for Sting and Darby having the tag titles, but, it makes no sense now.
Maybe we should have done that a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it really lessens the effect because, of course Sting's going to lose. Sting's not going to take the tag belts into retirement.
No.
Come on. Like,
Yeah.
that I think is one of the bigger missteps AEW's done. And that's really a shame because honestly, their
It's
work with
awesome.
Sting up to that point has been pretty
awesome.
spotless.
I'm not upset that Sting has a title.
You're upset
all.
at the timing.
Yes.
Which is, I'm the same way.
Yes.
I wish they would have done this with Darby and Sting a year ago.
Because I think those two have been together since Sting. Like, Darby and Sting, they've been, like, father and son this whole time Sting's been in AEW. So, like, yes, I think it's great they finally got a title together, but... Yep, Sting's retiring in a month. Let's give him a title now. Like, what?
Yeah, they should have got the title a year ago.
Yeah.
Or 6 months ago or something along those lines. Yeah.
Even a couple months, like 3 months ago or something, and then they could have a short title reign.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
Especially if you've announced Sting's retirement match in advance.
Yes.
Like, if they hadn't announced it in advance, which I know why they did, they wanted the crowd to know this is it. But, I mean, honestly, why didn't you have them have the tag titles originally, lose them, like, a couple weeks before, and then, you know, Sting and Darby go back for it, and Sting says, if we don't win, I'm done.
Yeah, that would have been, like, yeah.
Or, you know, something. Could have done something. Just take the titles out of it completely.
Yeah.
You have plenty of tag teams. Like, Sting and Darby should have had that a while ago.
I agree.
And it's just a shame because AEW's work with Sting up until this point has been pretty spotless.
Yeah.
It's been a really good last run for Sting. They have done AEW has fucked up a lot of booking over the last couple of years, but I can say they've done right by Sting.
Yeah.
For sure. Like that is the retirement tour Sting deserved that he didn't get in WWE due to circumstances out of everyone's control. For the most part, WWE could have booked him better, but it was, you know, WWE in whatever year it was, 2015, I think. So, yeah, of course. The 6-man tag titles, I don't know what we're doing with those. Like, the Acclaimed and the Bullet Club Gold are just kind of...
I honestly forgot who had them.
Yeah, because Bullet Club Gold has the Ring of Honor ones, so now you've taken those off of Ring of Honor. And the Acclaimed has the AEW ones, and they haven't defended it in months. So that's a title that's definitely fallen by the wayside. And I hate to say it, it really feels like they've cooled off the Acclaimed from where they were a year ago. Like the Acclaimed used to be consistently one of the biggest pops of the night. They still get a big pop, but it's not like it used to be. And that's unfortunate. But, you know, a lot of people have accused Tony Khan of stop-start booking and cooling people off that get hot. Wardlow's been a victim of that 3 times now, I think.
Yeah.
Like, poor Wardlow, it keeps happening to him. Wardlow probably should just go to WWE because they would love him.
Yeah.
They would love it. Wardlow would kill it in NXT. He would absolutely kill it.
Agreed.
Oh my God, Wardlow versus Obafemi? Like, come on. That would be good. As far as the women's, Toni Storm's been doing her thing with her title. I don't really have an issue with it, except
Tony's just been doing her thing.
Yeah, my only issue with it is Tony Khan's backwards booking of, hey, here's the match you're going to get, now we're going to tell the story. Like, he does that and it drives me crazy, but that's okay. Julia Hart, I guess, is injured, so I'm going to cut her some slack. And plus, she's been on TV pretty much every week anyway, promoting this wedge between Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale, so I'll give Julia a pass. She's doing something.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston defends his Continental Crown once in a while.
Crown?
That's what they call it, the Continental Crown. Oh, man. Yeah. Because I think the belt literally has a crown on it. He's going to fight Danielson at Revolution, like I mentioned earlier, but he's not really doing anything with it from week to week. I don't even know if he's doing anything with the Ring of Honor title at this point, because he has that too.
I don't know.
So I don't know. Like, AEW's title scene's very strong at the top, but then as you go, it's just like it just fades and fades and fades. Like, WWE does that too, especially with the women's tag titles, but at least I can tell you what's going on with those titles.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you right now, Asuka and Kairi have theirs, and, you know, that's part of Damage Control's all the gold thing. So, you know, there's a purpose to it there. These other ones, sometimes I wonder if the titles are just props and there's not really any substance to it sometimes.
Yeah.
But you run into that when you have as many titles as they do. You know, we've harped on AEW's booking for weeks now, and they're either going to fix it or they're not.
Yeah.
And sticking with AEW, I think one thing that would really help them is they've got to just separate the Dynamite and Collision rosters.
Yeah.
like we mentioned earlier, the Blackpool Combat Club and the CMLL thing being across 3 shows, that's not needed. Especially like if you're having them on Dynamite and then redoing it on Rampage, like the people there are seeing them twice. Mm-hmm. It's the fun part is seeing how many different people you're going to see.
Yeah.
And that's just somebody that likes the Blackpool Combat Club. I am not opposed to what they're doing. I just don't know that it needs to take up so much AEW airtime when they already have a roster that struggles to get TV time, and you have a lot of guys that are frustrated that they're not getting on TV. I don't think bringing in another promotion helps. I think separating the rosters between Dynamite and Collision does help. I think that's one positive to CM Punk's War on the World when he was in AEW was there were people that were allowed to work Collision and there were people that had to just work Dynamite. And the shows back then, there was very little crossover, so it felt like you were getting 2 different shows.
Yeah.
And WWE used to do that too, where like a Raw story may continue on SmackDown. I like the 2 separate rosters. It gives people more chances.
They're doing that now.
Yeah, it gives you a chance.
WWE, I mean.
I understand, but I'm going to give them a pass because they're qualifying to get in the Elimination Chamber, which is a joint show event, always has been.
Gotcha.
Not always has been. It used to be there was a Raw Chamber and a SmackDown Chamber, but
I get you.
now
I get
it's
you.
more. So I'm okay with it there, and plus it's WrestleMania, that stuff kind of goes out the window anyway because you're building stuff. Like Cody technically should be on SmackDown, but he's a Raw guy. So I'll give him a pass at this time of the year. If we were doing this in like September, I'd be a little irritated.
But don't they have people pop up from show to show?
Right before WrestleMania season got going.
I remember LA Knight doing it. I remember Cody doing it. I remember people do it.
They do. Well, Cody, part of the reason that Cody did it was when he and Jay had the titles, and the tag titles need to be separated anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they aren't, it's not really doing them any good to be combined.
No.
I don't know if they don't separate them because SmackDown doesn't have enough time for its own tag division, because definitely SmackDown gets the shaft in the tag team division. Because they're there every week because the Judgment Day is a Raw team, so they have the tag titles over there every week. SmackDown, it feels like they only come over when somebody on SmackDown finally stands out and they're like, hey, we want a shot.
Yeah.
Like right now you got Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne going for them, but look at the road we had to get there to make sure they got that shot. So yeah, Dynamite and Collision need separate rosters, tell more stories, you can tell stories a little deeper, you give the women more of a spotlight. Rampage could kind of be your bridge between the two if you want it to be. Honestly, Rampage at this point just kind of feels like an hour of random wrestling sometimes. They do have some stories on Rampage, but a lot of it is very, like, I hate to use this word, especially all the work those guys put in, but sometimes Rampage just feels skippable.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've contributed any to the story. It kind of feels like, I almost feel like Rampage has become Dark Elevation, in a way.
Yeah.
You remember Dark Elevation?
Yeah.
Hell, this week on commentary they even had Daddy Magic. That took me right back to Dark Elevation.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so split the rosters. It's time. Give your guys different shots on different shows, and then you can always bring the rosters together for like Double or Nothing. You could build up dream matches. Like if you have somebody that's doing really good on Dynamite, somebody's doing really good on Collision, you can bring those two together and have a fun fight with it. That was part of the fun of the Continental Classic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, separate the rosters is the answer. All right, so speaking of the Elimination Chamber, we have 11 of our 12 participants set to go. So we have all the men's ready to go, and we're going to have Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. I kind of wish it would have been Dirty Dom. LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton. Positives. That's a pretty stacked chamber. There's going to be a lot of good stuff in that chamber. Negatives. Everybody in that chamber is over 35 except Logan Paul. I kind of worry that WWE's main event scene doesn't have enough young blood in it. It feels like everybody that's going for titles is pushing 40 or over 40, and they could still go, don't get me wrong. But I think that's one area that we're seeing AEW succeed a little more is they're more willing to push their younger talent at this point.
But that's who's over right now.
It
the
is
older talent. So why wouldn't they put the older talent in there?
They are over, but you could be helping young talent get over too. Like,
but if they're not over right now, why would you put them in a thing where people that are over deserve to be in?
Because there's a way that you can get them over without
putting them in a big title like this, match like this, or not title match, a big elimination chamber match. No, you don't. This is for people that are over, in my opinion.
Okay.
You don't put the people that are up and comers into this.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I would like to see more young guys in the main event scene. That's all I'm saying.
Then they have to get over.
I understand that. I understand that. Never mind. I don't think we're gonna end up agreeing on
nope.
this. We're just gonna go.
Nope.
But anyway, I think the chamber match will be fun. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Drew McIntyre is winning.
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre should win because he's fucking killing it right now.
He is.
Like, he went toe-to-toe with LA Knight on the mic on Friday, to the point where they're wrestling on SmackDown next week, and I saw people in the comments saying, I'd rather them just have a verbal joust in the ring.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know that I needed Drew McIntyre and LA Knight to feud, but I really like this short feud that we got going into the chamber. But yeah, I think McIntyre's going to win. I think Logan Paul's going to do some crazy shit. And I'm here for it. I don't like Logan Paul the person. I really enjoy Logan Paul the wrestler. I gotta tip my cap. That dude, you can tell by the way he wrestles, he's put in the work, he's done the training, and you know, I'll say it, he's worthy of a title. And he's wrestled more than Roman has. So we'll give him credit for that. Now, on the women's side, we have 5 of the 6, and the women's side's looking pretty good too. So we've got Naomi, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton has been on the main roster for 2 weeks, and she's in the Elimination Chamber. That is more of what I'd like to see on the men's side.
Do they have any men, though, that they could do that with? Braun Breaker?
If they would have started 2 weeks ago, Braun Breaker.
Yeah. Carmelo.
Yeah. Yeah. They brought those guys on SmackDown. That would have been a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Santos. Santos could have been in the chamber.
Yeah.
But I think they're saving Santos for Ray, because I saw a report that Ray's supposed to be back in a few weeks. So I think we're going to get Santos and Ray at Mania.
Gotcha.
But this women's match it's looking good too.
Yeah.
And I saw where WWE accidentally leaked the last participant, because they leaked the graphic early. Excuse me.
They've done this before with the women.
I know,
They've
it's weird.
accidentally leaked the women's stuff.
It's weird.
It's always the women's things that get leaked.
Yeah, and if the leak is to be believed, the 6th person in the chamber is Jade Cargill, which I gotta say, Jade Cargill was on SmackDown with Braun Breaker. Like, Nick Aldis was wooing them, or like kind of wooing and whining and dining them. And he got Breaker. But Bianca and Liv Morgan and Tiffany Stratton were all in a segment, and Jade was just on the other side of the room at a table, just kind of just being there. And just even being in the room with those people, Jade still exudes such star power.
Yeah.
She just feels like a big fucking deal.
My eyes were like drawn to her.
Yes. Like, Bianca's got charisma.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan is great. Tiffany Stratton's fun. Jade was the only thing I could focus on. I wanted to see what she was going to do.
Yeah.
Because that woman is a fucking star.
Yes.
And as much as I love AEW dropped the ball with Jade Cargill hard. And WWE...
They dropped the ball with all the women.
WWE's going to pick up that ball with Jade Cargill, and they're going to score touchdown after touchdown with her.
Yeah.
They're going to just knock it out of the fucking park with Jade Cargill, and I can't wait.
Yes.
I am very excited. Because I've been a Jade Cargill fan for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see what she does with WWE. And I think, like Cody Rhodes, it sucks that AEW lost them, but they are, I think, where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think you could say that for both Cody and Jade.
Agreed.
So, Elimination Chamber's looking fun. We also have the Undisputed Tag Team match, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne against Judgment Day. I think that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that's been announced for Elimination Chamber other than the Grayson Waller segment with Cody and Rollins.
Yeah.
So
let me is just scratching my foot.
It's okay. So I'm interested to see what else we get going, because it's a week from today. We're filming on Saturday. It's a week from today. Mm-hmm. Elimination Chamber, we're going to catch late because it starts at 5 a.m. our time. So I love wrestling, not enough to get up at 5 a.m., especially when I don't go to bed till 2.
Yeah.
That's a wicked turnaround for somebody my age, and I'm not going to do it. But as soon as I get up, we will watch it.
Yes. Anything else for the Elimination Chamber, though?
No, Elimination Chamber is my second favorite gimmick match after Royal Rumble, so I'm excited.
Okay.
Alright, so we dumped a lot in AEW on this video, and we gave a lot of praise to WWE.
Yeah.
Now I want to pick at NXT to end the video.
Oh,
and
gosh.
it's a very small pick.
You have a nitpick about NXT.
I do. It's a very small
You have so many
pick.
nitpicks. You have more nitpicks than me.
I'm getting older and grumpier.
You are.
My nitpick with NXT is the NXT title pictures. So, I like Carmelo Hayes. I like Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ilya Dragunov. I've now seen them together in the title scene for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
I kind of felt it when Dijak came out and said, all you've done is focus on Trick and Mello to Ilya.
Yeah.
I felt that. Dijak, I think you're correct. And it kind of feels like the bad thing is really they haven't built anybody else up to be in the title picture. Like Dijak, yeah, but then he just lost to Dragunov. So
Yeah.
now he has nothing to go on. Corbin teamed up with Braun Breaker, and then you gave him the tag titles and called Braun Breaker up. So are you going to prep Corbin to come back? Because Corbin just fought for it, too.
Yeah.
So that's not happening, because I think we're going to get Corbin and Braun to Stand and Deliver. So, yes, these three are the only ones in the title picture, but I also don't see where they've built anybody else up to be in it, and I think that's a problem. I think that is a major problem for NXT.
But they don't have any other tag teams? Or what?
No, they don't have anybody else that seems like they're credible and worthy enough to be in the title scene.
That's easy to fix.
It is.
Do a freaking
That's
tournament thing, and boom, you've got your contenders.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they can fix it easily, but they got to fix it soon, because these three dudes, I think Melo's gone after Stand and Deliver. I think he's going to SmackDown. I think Trick will be champ, and Trick will lead NXT, and maybe Dragunov goes, because now that Dragunov's got the title, I don't know what else you can do with him.
But that's always your thing, though. You are very stuck in the old NXT ways.
I know, because I said the same thing when Braun Breaker lost the title last year, and Braun Breaker's
that makes
still
no
there.
sense, because it's a 2-hour show. So you're telling me people that lose their title on, like, another 2-hour show, there's something for them to do now? Like, I think you need to think more of NXT now, not black and gold.
I think what the issue is, though, is NXT is
Stop thinking about it being developmental, too.
Well,
Like,
that's what they say. It's developmental.
I know, but stop thinking of it that way. It's like its own show.
Mm-hmm.
People lose their titles on wrestling shows.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But still, I
Yes.
think... But even then, even if they all stay, who else is there? Like, who else is going to be pushed to that upper echelon to challenge? Gacy's clearly doing a crazy gimmick. Dijak's focused on him.
There's Axiom, there's Nathan Frazier, there's...
They haven't done anything to show any interest
But
in the
you
NXT
can
title.
easily build them up, too.
You could.
I think you're fixated on the fact that they haven't done this, but they can easily do it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, normally when there's a new challenger coming,
Yes, I know.
there's kind of a build to it. Like, we get a crescendo of it. And we crescendoed Trick. Like, it felt like Trick was coming and he was making his way. And it's like nobody walked through the door behind Trick.
I guess they're not done with that story then, dear.
I know, but what I'm saying, like, I don't know, I'm ready for these three to move on.
I
to
just
something
feel
else.
like you always nitpick so much now. Just go with the flow more with wrestling. Stop nitpicking as much and go with the flow more.
I've gone with the flow for like 90% of everything that's going on.
I feel like the older you get, the more nitpicky you get about everything.
Okay, then who would you have challenge next then?
I don't like to fantasy book. I don't know.
Oh, that's a cop-out answer.
You know I don't. I
Because
never like to.
you can't think of anybody that's worthy.
Well, everybody I think of you shut down, so why would I name somebody?
I don't know. I don't know.
But anyway, anything else about this?
No. I'm ready for a new NXT title picture, and I think we'll get it after Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
And I think Trick will be the champion.
Yeah.
And I think Melo's gone. I'm sticking by I think Melo's gone.
I think so too.
Well, that's going to do it for our show this week. So, like I said, next week is Elimination Chambers. We'll be back next week. We will do the show next week. I haven't decided if we're going to do it before or after we watch Elimination Chamber. I'm not sure. Maybe we probably ought to just do it after we watch Elimination Chamber. So it might be a little bit later on Sunday if we do that.
Make sure that you follow us on our
Socials.
Facebook and Instagram. Check out, we do a weekly video. If we do a video that week, just kidding. We do a weekly video unless something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you next week.
See you then.
Did you like that video? Like, subscribe, and comment to the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling Podcast. Oh, yeah.